Hello and welcome to Joey Sewy. My name's Jo and this is my YouTube channel where I talk all about sewing, knitting, textiles and life. Now today we've got a fabric haul. Now I need to do full disclosure, I didn't actually pay for a lot of the fabric in this haul, but that's not because it came for free. It's because, as I hinted at in my last video, which was about a sewing field trip, I have committed to make something for someone, and that something is a prom dress. So it's very exciting, and a lot of the fabric that I'm going to show you today is about making that prom dress. If you'd like to support my channel, please like it, please click for the notifications, and if you'd like to support in a more concrete way, there are affiliate links in the comments down below, which if you shop at eBay or Amazon, you can use those links to do your regular shopping. There's absolutely no extra cost to you, and I get a small reward. If you don't want to use them, that's fine too. I'll still be here. Let's get into the video. So we have, let me count, 1, 2, 3. We've got 6 fabrics today. 4 of them are about the prom dress and 2 of them are mine that I bought a little while ago and I haven't shared with you yet. So I think I'll start with the ones that are mine. I'll keep myself slightly mysterious just for a while longer, and I'll show you the fabrics that are mine. Both of these fabrics came from Regency Rags, which is a UK eBay seller, and there will of course be a link down below. There are always links down below. This one is I would say, I can't remember, I think it's a polyester. It's drapey. I'm going to step right back. So there you go, it's really drapey. Really drapey. I think I bought, let me check, I think I bought 2 meters of it. Yeah, I bought 2 meters of it. I loved this umbrella print, it's just fantastic. You don't need to see my face, you can just see the fabric. That's sideways. It's directionless in the sense of being up and down, so doesn't matter which way up you put it. And I think what this is going to be when it gets sewn up is probably a shirt or a shirt dress. That's what I intended to buy it for, and that's what I'd like to use it for. So it's like a white shirt or a shirt dress, and I really do love this. Something to say is that all these fabrics have been pre-washed because I'm in the habit of, the instant that something comes into the house, it gets pre-washed so that I don't forget whether it has or it hasn't. It doesn't go on my fabric shelves until it has been pre-washed. So I know that all of these have been pre-washed, even though for this one it's probably going to have to wait a little while to get sewn with. The next one, it's a funny old fabric, again from Regency Rags. This one's one that's mine. And I kind of bought it because I didn't know how to sew with it. Does that sound weird? So that's what it looks like. It is knitted. I hope that's coming across well on camera. This was one of the samples I got way back in my sample haul video, probably 6 weeks ago now. And yeah, is that a weird thing to do, to buy something specifically because you don't know how to sew with it? If that's a weird thing to do, that is a weird thing I've just done. So what I was interested in was making a jumper, a sweater, a knitted sweater without knitting. Now you know I can knit. I've knitted this top and this is featured in previous videos. I think it's called the Shinobi top. I'll put a link to the pattern down below, and to the previous video. So I can knit, but I'm quite a slow knitter, and frankly even the fastest knitter in the world cannot knit as fast as you could potentially sew a sweater. But one thing that I always felt would let down the look of a sewn knitted sweater, if that makes sense, is the cuffs and the band. And then I had this genius idea, which is possibly not genius, it's taken me a while to realise. But you could knit on a band to a sewn sweater. So here is my little experiment. Now, one thing that you'd be really lucky if you were able to do is to match the same colour fabric, so that you wouldn't necessarily get matching cuffs or a matching hemband or a matching neckband. But if you were content to design a top or to make a top that had deliberately contrasting or just tonally slightly different, then I don't see why this wouldn't work. So I did try, my plan A was to actually pull threads out of this fabric and then wind them into a ball and then knit with those. Yeah, I tried that for a little while, realised it would probably take me the rest of my life to unravel it. It's weird, I don't know whether they seal the edges of knitted fabric to stop it unravelling in the same way that a knitted garment would if you started pulling it back, but it really didn't pull back in the same sort of way. It was far more robust and so was going to take a very long time to unravel if it was going to unravel at all. So I switched to this idea of a contrast, and what I've got here, I hope that can focus, yeah, that's not too bad, is it? Is where I have picked up the stitches, not very straight to be fair, but I was just seeing, is it possible and what does it look like? So on the reverse there you've got the raw edge of the knitted fabric and then the knitted stitches, and I was using these needles which are 3mm needles, and kind of by chance and a little bit of judgment I've got knit stitches that are about the same size as the knit stitches on my fabric, which I think would be important. So what I now need to find, and if you've got any inspiration I would love to hear it, is a pattern. I need to find a pattern for a sweater. It's quite drapey, this fabric, so a fairly drapey, and obviously it's transparent, but that's fine because I wear vests 365 days of the year anyway because I'm always cold. Except when we went to Las Vegas last year, 40-degree heat plus, I wasn't cold in that. Okay, so to be fair, I was still wearing vests, but then I wasn't wearing anything else. Anyway, yeah, don't need to deal with the transparency, don't need a lining or anything like that. But yeah, have you got any good drapey sweaters that have the potential for me to knit on a cuff, knit on a neckband maybe, or maybe I could sew on the neckband, and again for the hemband as well. Let me know if you've got any inspiration. Okay, shall we move on to the fun stuff? Prom dress. Now, I don't often say yes to sewing for other people. I have in the past very briefly had a job at a bridal shop altering wedding dresses, and it almost instantly made me hate sewing because, believe me, unless you are working in a very high-end shop, wedding dresses are sewn so badly. Made in China, made out of awful fabrics and sold for a fortune, and it's a crime, it's just awful. And to undo those and to alter them, you're working with horrible fabrics, and people didn't want to pay a few pounds to get a dress altered when they're paying nearly £1,000, sometimes more than £1,000 for a dress that totally is not worth £1,000. And so that disparity really annoyed me. Let's just say the job didn't last very long. I was not happy. So yeah, and I do sometimes alter things for people, and I have made wedding dresses from scratch, mostly for friends or friends of friends before. But it stresses me out quite a lot to sew for other people because my perfectionism, which is always there, goes into absolute skyrocket levels when the idea of somebody else having to wear something I've made comes up. But I have said yes to doing this. It is a friend of a friend who said, oh yes, I know someone who sews, and the reason why I said yes to this project was because I really liked the people when I met them, and they had a really interesting idea. So she didn't want a regular prom dress. She wanted the shape of the dress. I've drafted and draped the pattern as well, and there's going to be a whole load of videos about this, so I'm not going to talk a lot. But basically it is a halter neck with a full circle skirt. And more important than the shape, because the shape is on the simple side, it's not simple, but it's on the simple side. But she loves the painting Van Gogh's Starry Starry Night, which I'd seen but I didn't know very well, but she wanted that print on her dress. So we have gone to Spoonflower, which you may have heard of. there are quite a few prints of this painting on Spoonflower, and so we've bought it in 2 different scales. So this is the first one. There you go. And I just loved, it's going to be such an individual dress. It's going to be so unique. It's going to be all about her, and I love that because that is what sewing should do. So although I am extremely stressed out about doing it, I've got about 12 more days to finish, which is plenty of time, although I do have a life as well as sewing. But yeah, I am really inspired by Chloe's idea. So this is going to be the bodice, okay, of the dress. So that's why we've got this scale, and that's quite a good scale for you to see because I can hold it up. Now for the skirt, I've had to lay it out on my table because it is a massive scale print. We bought the cotton sateen from Spoonflower. So if you don't know Spoonflower, it is a company who started in the US but now have a European operation as well. So it's available to all of Europe as far as I know. And they have hundreds, if not thousands, of different potential prints on their website. You select the print, you select the fabric you want it printed onto, and then they do that for you in whatever length you want. So they have about 20 different fabrics that you can choose from, and like I say, thousands of prints, and you can design your own and upload it. So pretty much you can get anything you want. What you do need to bear in mind, because it is a printed service, they're always, I think, yeah, they always print onto white. So although this is dark, and the colours are really good and saturated in the print, but it is printed onto a white background, okay? So any areas that are blank in your print will come out white, and the edges where it's not printed are all white, okay? So like I say, I'm pretty impressed. This is a very dark print, and you can't tell, I don't think you can tell that's printed onto white. But it is something to bear in mind if you're going to make a garment where you can see the reverse, because the reverse is bright white. So I'm going to lift you up and I'm going to show you the skirt print, because it's such a massive scale that I have laid it out onto the table. There you go. So there it is, and that size is over 1 metre wide, so from that side to that side is over 1 metre, and then the height is probably almost 1 metre high, and it is over 1 metre wide. Okay, so it's a very big scale print, and the reason for wanting such a massive scale print was because she wants that on her circle skirt. She wanted just one repeat, if I step back, just one repeat of the painting on the skirt, and we got 4 yards of that. They sell in yards, not meters. Got 4 yards of that because there will be 4 panels on the skirt. So for us, it's not been a very economical way of using the fabric, because there's going to be a ton left over because of print placement, and I'll go into that more in the videos about her dress. Then the last 2 are pretty dull fabrics because they're part of the project, and then the lining project. These are the things I got from Bombay Stores, which, as I said, was my last video about field trips, and there'll be links at the end. So this is the lining fabric for the skirt. It's quite drapey, it's just a dark blue, nothing particularly special about it. Ridiculously cheap, £1.25 a metre, almost criminally cheap to be honest. It is definitely synthetic, probably polyester I would say. It's kind of got a peach skin feel, and yeah, that's going to be the lining for the circle skirt. And then the lining for the bodice is going to be this beautiful dark blue silk. Because, you know, if you're having a handmade dress, why not line it in silk? And this was also very, very cheap. It should have been £10.99 a metre, which is cheap. But when I took it to the till, he said, I think he said it was £4.99 a metre, which is just crazy. So it's a really gorgeous colour, it really is. making the light go a bit bonkers on the camera, but I think you can see it's not actually shot, but it's got such a depth. It has been pre-washed, so at the end it's gone bananas. And yes, I know it's silk, but yes, I did put it in the washing machine to pre-wash it. And the reason is because after this has been a prom dress, she wants to wear it as a sundress, and it needs to be able to be washed in the machine. So I thought, well, let's wash it in the machine. So you can wash it as delicates. Didn't bleed, and it's come out perfectly fine, except it has frayed so badly at the ends. There you can see there again, it's like someone's haircut. You know, lost about 4 inches at the end. I've got plenty, so it doesn't really matter in terms of the project, but that does mean that as I sew it, I need to be really careful to finish and enclose all those edges, because otherwise they will fray and fray and then fray some more. That's the fabric haul. I have a lot of sewing to do for somebody else. I'm going to do a series of videos of making this prom dress. When I have done them, there will be a playlist up here with all the videos. Probably not until mid-May, so if you're watching this before mid-May 2018, just hold on. If you want to see another video, then it will be down here. If you want to subscribe, there'll be a link here, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!